The following content is not suitable for children.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, Lori. Here we are.
Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, G.
Merry Christmas. I mean, Christmas is the season, the holiday season, right, for connection. It's one time a year we do slow down enough to take stock and say, why are we here? What's the whole point? The whole point is to love and to be with each other and to spend that time. So let's get intentional about that today. What do you think, Lori?
It sounds good. Welcome to Foreplay Radio, Couples and Sex Therapy. I'm Lori Watson, your sex therapist.
And I'm George Fallon, your couples therapist.
And we are passionate about talking about sex and helping you develop a way to talk to each other.
Our mission is to help our audience develop a healthier relationship to sex that integrates the mind, the heart, and the body.
For a great personal lubricant, please check out uberlube.com and use the coupon Foreplay to support us at the podcast. Don't forget the stocking stuffers. Drop in some Uberlube.
All right. So how are we going to help these couples out there just maximize this special time, not just take it for granted? And before you know it, the new year is here and we're back into the rat race and grind of life.
I know. This is a lovely time. Many people have a couple days off, and I just think having intentional conversations that deepen our relationship, it's an opportunity. We're spending time together. I loved what you said last week about talking and electronic free time. And so I know that in my family, sometimes I like to do dinners where we just have questions that we try to brainstorm about what would be interesting, lots of Christmas questions, just to understand, even though we're all together and we think we know everything about each other, there's so many feelings and thoughts that we don't know. I also bought this game. It's called Hygge Game. I'll show it to you again, G.
Hygge?
Hygge.
How do you spell it?
Okay, it's Hygge. It's a Swedish word, and it means fun, cozy, basically cozy fun.
Cozy fun.
Cozy fun, where you're having pleasant conversation, neighbors, which we can't have over right now, but family maybe, and just time together. It's not a elaborate deal. It's just sitting by a fire, having blankets around, having conversation, drinking a little bit of wine, cozy time, and talking.
Okay,
and talking. So I thought I would pick a card and ask you a question. I think you're tired, dude.
No, cozy time by the fire.
Cozy time by the fire. Yeah, that is fun. So this game has a bunch of cards. There's a lot of different questions, and you can choose. What low-paid job or profession deserves to be better compensated? That's one question. Name something you look back at and think, I can't believe I was afraid of that. Oh, that's a more interesting question to me. And who is the most likable person you know?
And what are you supposed to just pick one?
Yeah, pick one.
Okay. Something I was surprisingly scared of. I'm not scared of anything, Lori, so I can't answer that question.
Nothing you were afraid of in your past?
I'm kidding. I'm just teasing. I think spiders.
Spiders?
Yeah.
My husband's afraid of spiders, too. I'm the spider killer in my house. Are you not afraid of spiders anymore?
Not. I think as having kids, trying to get them not to be scared, it's caused me to have to, tell them there's nothing to be scared about while I'm hiding it on the inside and trying to. Especially those daddy long legs that are kind of big and really they can't even bite you. So there is literally nothing to be afraid of.
Right, but they're kind of creepy, like wispy legs and woof. Yeah, that's funny.
Well, it's interesting how the brain works, right? How it doesn't even get to your frontal cortex, the thinking part of your brain, when your amygdala gets so triggered. And your body's already recoiling and moving away before you even have a choice.
Yep. And so you overcame that, or you hide it at least well, so your boys will be good spider killers.
Or we can get into a whole conversation around fear.
Oh, that would be interesting. But
any good therapy, right, is trying to get you to recognize that it's actually less scary than you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
so much of what we want to avoid is based on fear. And when any prolonged exposure, good therapy is trying to get you to face that fear and recognize that you got more power over it than you recognize.
Being in it, we can know that it's just a feeling, that it doesn't tank us, it doesn't destroy us. Yeah.
But I shouldn't do this, go into a lecture on fear if we're having a family conversation around spiders.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay,
Yes.
so I've got 3 questions. Do you want me to answer something? Let's see. Is it okay
Yes.
to... Okay, I could answer all of these. Is it okay to not leave a tip when you receive bad service? Do you like talking to strangers on planes? What is the least important subject in school? Well, it's not okay to not leave a tip. I'll just make that short. I was a waitress, and I was a terrible waitress. I was completely disorganized. It is not okay. Just leave a tip. That poor person. Okay. Do you like talking to strangers on planes? I love talking to strangers on planes. I have had some of the deepest.
You are one of those people. Okay. All
I
right.
have had some of the deepest conversations with strangers on planes. I mean, it is so fun, right? Just this pocket of time where you're never going to see them again. And yeah, you can go deep really fast. It's totally one of my joys. I mean, I'm sensitive. If they're reading a book or they give me the signal they don't want to talk, I'm not going to pester them. I'm one of those.
You're one of those. No, I appreciate that about you, Lori, and I think the world needs more of that. Right? I can sometimes be on a plane and throw in the headphones just to say, like, I just need to disconnect and don't want it.
Your signal.
You know? That's the signal of I have enough people time and I need to just unwind. And yet I agree. I think some amazing conversations can happen when you don't really have an agenda. And all of a sudden you're talking about the weirdest things with a perfect stranger.
Absolutely. It's so much fun. So much fun.
That's pretty cool.
So we have some Christmas questions that we're suggesting people ask their loved ones, and, just talking about things that we've done and that we've loved about each other in the past. That research shows that strengthens our love bond, and so it's a good thing to do, and especially if you can keep it warm and not controversial at the Christmas table or the Christmas bedroom. This could be fun. One of my favorite questions is always to ask people about what happened when they were 8. I don't know, maybe something happened to me when I was 8, but it's such a different picture. It's a childhood picture of maybe what they were feeling and thinking, what was going on in their family life. It gives so much information about how they were raised and what they were feeling. And 8 is a little bit before you're jaded, 10. If y'all have a 10-year-old out there, that's a tough year to have Christmas with them, because they kind of want so much and they're so easily disappointed. But 8 is a little different. And so I like to ask that, like, what do you remember on Christmas when you were 8? What's your earliest Christmas memory? But I think that 8th year is a good year.
We were talking last time about the love language and gift. I remember when I was 8, my aunt gave me the Star Wars Death Star. It was the best present I've ever received in my life. I did not expect it. Not famous for giving big gifts. We didn't have that much growing up in my family of 8 kids. So it was, if I would have got a Star Wars man, I was pretty happy. And I got this huge Death Star, like where you could put all the, I can still think about it today. And that gift, like I must have spent countless hours, with my figures on that Death Star. And it's just funny how the power of that gift all these years later still brings a sense of kind of oxytocin hitting my body.
Joy. I can see it all over your face.
It's
you're
so
8
cool.
years old again. It's like, wow.
It's just that wow factor of like, can the world get any better than it is right now?
That is so great. Yeah. Sometimes, and just it being a surprise, right? Something unexpected, and an aunt who really knew you, who really got it.
Yeah. It's so special because it just, it captures you in a way that all these years later. So these gifts are more than just what we need. I mean, these gifts are a way of really seeing and celebrating the person we love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's lovely.
And I'm sure a lot of our listeners have stories about Christmas caroling or a pickup football game, or, it's not about, it's just that you're in the flow, right? You feel loved and cared for and part of something bigger than yourself.
Absolutely. That's what I remember when I was 8. I belonged to this very cool Episcopal church, and we met in the YMCA. And there was this traditional Christmas party. It was called a Waffle Party, and all the mothers made cookies. And so there were, hundreds of cookies. And it was really just a beautiful night. There was always a pageant, and there was good food. And wassail is like spiced apple cider. And my mother always made the wassail. And so, that was lovely. And something about it, I think must have been candlelight. I had all these friends, and we would run around this whole facility, and we just had so much fun at this party. It was, it was kind of the essence of Christmas, people who loved each other, celebrating light, spirituality, faith, and community. It was a really special time.
Yeah, it's nice to see you light up as your brain goes back in time and just replays the movie.
Yeah. Good times.
Well, when we come back, let's get into some more of these holiday questions.
Okay. Uberlube.com with the coupon Foreplay is how you get 10% off Uberlube, and why I love it is long lasting. I was just talking to a patient this week about the way that they need to use this because, they're struggling with dryness, and it's just such a safe way to make sure that no matter what happens, if you feel anxious or whatever, the lubrication is there, it's ready, it makes sex comfortable and more pleasurable. I just think people need to use it no matter what. I mean, it's fun.
Right, and we win on all fronts. So when both people become more comfortable using it, we have more to work with and play with.
It's silicone, so it is non-allergic. It is a great product, beautiful packaging. We encourage you to buy it, and it is uberlube.com with the coupon Foreplay for 10% off. And when you do this, you help support us on the podcast as well, so we are grateful. Thanks.
And it makes a great stocking stuffer.
It does. Hey, join us on Instagram. We're running a contest. If you tag 5 of your friends, we are going to send you the Manscaped lawnmower. Thank you, Manscaped.
Woo! Very excited, Lori. Upcoming couples retreat weekend. Great love, great sex. What an opportunity for couples to work on that sexual and emotional cycle.
I know. I'm so excited we get to partner together to actually teach and share with couples. It's going to be on Friday, February 5th, and we're really encouraging you to take the weekend away together, to do this material with us. We're going to have interactive parts, talking about the emotional connection, the cycle, asking your partner questions. We'll have little breakouts. We're going to keep it fun, keep it hot. It's going to be a fast day. We'll start at 10 a.m. on Eastern Standard Time, February 5th. Great love, great sex. Find us on the website, foreplayradiosextherapy.com, and sign up.
We don't give many guarantees, but if you show up for this retreat, you will have conversations you've never had with your partner before.
Got a G-spot?
Here's a sentimental one. Why do we close our eyes when we sleep, when we cry, when we imagine, when we kiss, when we pray? Because the most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen with your eyes. It must be felt with your heart.
We got more holiday questions to help you strengthen your bond and think about ways to share with your loved ones a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your history, a little bit about your inner world. So,
what do you got, Lori? What's the next one?
What's your favorite part of the holidays, George?
Yeah, for me, it's Christmas morning, opening up presents.
Oh,
It's still my favorite parts. And my family growing up, it was a total madhouse.
Oh my
You had
gosh.
8 kids and 2 parents. And literally, you'd wake up, you'd run downstairs, and everybody would be a free-for-all. And it would just be like, but it'd be over in like 5 minutes. It was just total chaos.
This massive chaos.
My wife's family tradition was much slower, which fits, right? She's more patient. I'm more. That everybody would watch one person at a time open their present. And that person would guess what it was before. And they had this whole long process. And so we've integrated more of her process into, and it's fun. We go one person at a time, and everybody has a bunch of gifts and stocking things. But it takes a while. But did you just see people guess and kind of respond to the gifts you picked out or the gifts you're getting? It's a cool process to just come together. I'm like always wanting to know what's in a gift, and then my wife would get into a story and they forget about the gifts. I'm like, how do you forget about the gifts? Like, what are you doing? Like, and it's just cool. I have the family dynamics and different things.
It's definitely challenging oftentimes to merge 2 families together, right? I always say we don't marry a person, we marry a family. There's all these different holiday traditions that people bring into it, and oftentimes maybe they don't integrate it as well as you and your wife did, and there can be a struggle with that.
Yeah, my wife's got these great ideas. It always seems like it takes some work. This year's Christmas photo is my son's new pickup truck and put in a Christmas tree in the pickup truck. But you need lights, and how are you supposed to do that? And we're supposed to drive to a park. And it's before you know it, it's a whole adventure. And it's me and my 2 sons were miserable in a picture. We're like, come on, let's just take the picture. No, it's not right. You got to wait for this, got to do that. So it is marrying 2 different cultures. Like, I'm so appreciative. My wife puts the energy in to make it special.
Yes.
And I could see my sons are more like me with the impatience of, all right, come on, let's get going. Just take a picture.
I hope I get that picture this year. That'll be really fun to see.
It's in the mail.
Okay. Lovely. So
how about for you?
Oh, my favorite part of Christmas. Well, my favorite part of Christmas is definitely Christmas Eve. And I'm going to say something about sex in a minute, but Christmas Eve is the setup, right? It's all the pageantry, it's the candles, it's the meal, it's the prep, it's the gathering. You dress up. Sometimes we don't dress up, but I like it when everybody dresses up, and it's the before event. It's all the anticipation. That's, to me, what's so exciting. And I think that very typically between men and women, if men were to talk about it, sex is Christmas Day. It's opening the present, it's doing it. And for women, that anticipation is so exciting. So it's the lead up, it's the romance, it's what you're saying to each other. It's all of that kind of makes the whole event exciting and special.
Oh, wow. We are so different oftentimes. That is just so cool. How, I just got to get through the Christmas Eve to get to the good stuff. Right. And you're saying, no, wait a second. That is the good stuff. The Christmas Eve, the anticipation, setting the table, the kind of planning, all of that is, right, there's such a turn on as you're getting excited. And that's really cool.
Yeah, and setting the table is a really big deal for me. I do different things. One year I did this Nutcracker theme where I had all kinds of different candy falling out of all kinds of different containers and nutcrackers on the table, and the children really liked that. They remember that one. It was fun. I do different themes on the table. Okay.
So, how do we make room for both to our listeners? For the person who likes the Christmas Eve anticipation, how does their partner join them more in that instead of seeing it as just work? Or for the person who loves that morning, how does the other partner see how important that morning is to kind of let go of the rules and the worrying and the structure and just kind of get lost in the moment of the rapture of just that process? It's so easy to miss each other.
It is so easy to miss each other. It is so easy to see the negative of the other experience. Like you said, the work of it all, or just the rush of it all.
Yeah, I'm feeling guilty right now thinking about I must be a killjoy for my wife when she's trying to set the table, and that's actually exciting to her. And to me, it's like, just give me the fork. So what, like, it's such a different mindset. So I'm gonna go change my mindset.
Good.
Right, we're
I
gonna
like
get.
I like measure how far the fork is from the plate and from the edge of the table, George.
All right.
I'm Downton Abbey all the way. It's
I
like
might not ever
serious.
get there, but I'm shooting for that target.
Just it's the buildup. I promise you, there's a nice payoff on it.
All right, I'm writing that down.
Okay. Deeper question. So George told us what his favorite gift was, but that's a good question. What's been your favorite gift? Is it any other favorite gifts that you've had?
I've had a lot of favorite gifts through the years. Depends developmentally what age.
Give us another one.
Oh, I liked getting a shotgun.
Ooh. How old were you?
I was older. I was in my 20s.
Who gave you the
Cool
shotgun?
gifts. My father.
Oh, nice. You're in your 20s.
How about you?
So I have a tomboy part, right? My favorite gift, I was 21, and I liked this guy a whole lot. But we weren't really dating. We were very, very good friends. We spent multiple days a week together. We were youth workers. And so, we were always dealing with kids and picking up kids and hanging out. And he gave me a buck knife, and he taught me how to open it with one hand. And so
you got the cool flick.
It was a really cool flick. And, and I was just kind of on the brink of, I mean, certainly I liked boys and I was boy crazy, but I wasn't quite as comfortable yet in my femininity. And it was like, I felt very seen, like he got me. And so that was one of my very favorite gifts.
I didn't see that one coming. Again, it really highlights how important the uniqueness of the gift and the timing of where you're at. That just nails it, right? Yep.
It was. Thank you, Glenn. All these years later, still meaningful. And I think nice. My birthday is near Christmas too, and my husband took me to the Messiah as a surprise. It was the concert. And it was this incredible, it was when we still lived in California, and it was just a huge surprise. And I loved the whole music thing, and so that was one of my all-time favorite gifts.
Yeah, last year I was at Rockefeller Center, Radio City, and there's something special about that time of year with the energy and
yes.
It's really, really cool.
Oh, neat. What did you see? What was there?
I think we saw a play. I'm not sure what was the name of it, but it was the afterwards that was more memorable for me. Just walking in the crowds and seeing a tree and just getting caught up in the buzz and that energy that literally you can feed off of. I mean, I was just carried away in that Christmas joy. It feels like an uptick and it just in merry fun or just in that area. So.
And one of the things I'm hearing is like energy, that energy is really exciting to you and fun for you. Like you talked about the energy of the huge chaos of opening all the gifts together. And I can imagine partly just the energy of a family with 8 children. I mean, it must have been, 24/7 full of noise and energy.
Yeah.
Maybe your body's conditioned to that. What?
We know emotions are contagious too.
Yeah.
There's no just bystanders. If someone around you is really happy, before you know it, your body's taking in that happiness. Mm-hmm. So exponentially, it just grows. No wonder why when you're in a place like Rockefeller Center and you see all these big smiles and people skating and laughing, it just kind of does something that lifts your spirits.
I like it. So other questions are, what was your worst holiday and why? What was your best holiday and why? What do you remember about our first Christmas together with your partner? Also, I think it's important to think about, meaning of the holidays, faith, maybe just meaning of love, all of that. What about those? Which one do you want to answer?
I love the question about your worst holiday just because it it causes you to see the opportunity in talking about not just happy and fun. If it's about family and connection, it's also got to be about vulnerability and knowing how to repair and how do you inevitably there will be disappointments during this holiday season. And instead of letting that kind of crash you down, like how do you find connection in the down? So what's an example of a negative holiday experience that you had?
Oh, gee. I think, let's see, probably in my childhood, one of our traditions was that Santa Claus would leave gifts unwrapped. And so you would run out on Christmas morning and there would be a few select gifts, things that you had longed for and wanted, that would be left by Santa Claus and they weren't wrapped, which was very smart of my parents, right? Because less wrapping. And this was the year that my parents had separated. And so I ran out on Christmas morning and there was nothing there from Santa Claus. And I kind of went into my mother's room, and I think my mother's struggling, probably depressed. I said, there's no Santa Claus gifts. And she said, oh, yeah, I forgot. And like went ahead and did that. And I just remember it brings tears to my eyes, but just that sense of, wow, everything is different. I know that when we work with couples, we want to go into the painful places, right? Because that's where the healing needs to happen. And I think that, just for families that have divorced, I always encourage them, try to keep the traditions the same. And I'm sure it comes from that memory of, how it felt like everything had been different and somewhat lost.
Right. No, it's so important. Thank you for risking sharing that. So many people, especially during COVID, are going to find it hard to celebrate. Right? There's so much loss, and you lost your job, you lost your house, you lost your family member. I mean, you lost dreams. I mean, there's a lot of pain and hurt out there.
Yeah.
And it's actually where we need people the most.
Absolutely.
So how do we find somebody who we can just share that with and are able to lean on?
Right.
To not face it alone, because I think that's the hardest part. There's nothing more lonely than a holiday in pain by yourself.
I think that it is why Christmas became my favorite holiday, like why I put so much effort into it, not just for the children, but for the child in me, so that there's light and joy and anticipation and energy, but it's so important. How about you,
Well, that's a
G?
beautiful way to end it.
No, wait. You got to tell us your worst Christmas and why.
We can't go over time. I'd hate.
Tell us your worst Christmas.
I guess the worst Christmas would just be a family fight. To see my two older brothers literally fist fighting and people screaming at each other and mom crying and this one doing that and just the drama of, hey, wait a second, that's not what it's supposed to look like. Presents not open. And yeah, I think there's a lot of pain in when family's not working.
Oh,
So our
absolutely.
families are very similar. And I think it's
Yeah.
the human experience, right, of missing.
And especially, I think, in contrast to this part of you that loved the chaotic, joyful part of your family at Christmas morning, for that to be the dark side of the chaos and anger and fighting, and then that takes away the joy. I can imagine how disruptive that is and hard that was.
I don't remember any of the holiday movies, like Rudolph never shows up or Snowman just melts and doesn't come back to life. I mean, it all ends happily ever after. That's the holiday season. And yet for most of us, we're going to get let down some of the time with that. And that's okay as long as you can do what, Lori?
As long as you can repair and go again, and I just want to say I appreciate you taking a few more minutes and telling us about your worst Christmas. Thank you, G. I know that's vulnerable too. And we both shared a lot of vulnerable things this episode. I hope that sharing ourselves at Christmas with our Foreplay fam is a gift to them. I know that we've had a lot of people ask, just talk a little bit more about you guys. We want to know you. And I think that that makes what we're doing helpful to people so that they see us as real people. And again, we've shared now some of the worst things, and we know that this might be a difficult Christmas for some of you during COVID. We wish you peace. We wish you blessings. We wish you blessings on this holiday, on Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa. May there be peace on earth.
Amen.
Hey, don't forget, we are doing our couples retreat, and that is Great Sex, Great Love on February 5th. You can sign up right now. We've got a discount going until January 8th. We'd love to have you join us for a whole day. George and I are inviting you.
Come join us and have fun.
Call in your questions to the Foreplay question voicemail. Dial 833-MY-4PLAY. That's 833-4-PLAY. And we'll use the questions for our mailbag episodes. All content is for entertainment purposes only and should not be considered as a substitute for therapy by a licensed clinician or as medical advice from a doctor. This podcast is copyrighted by Foreplay Media.